The bagpipe is one of the oldest instruments. To play it, you blow into a pipe attached to a leather or synthetic bag, then press on the bag to force the air out through other pipes to create sound. You transform this sound into a melody using finger holes on a reeded pipe called a chanter. They start by carving a 20-centimeter long block of wood, rounding it to a diameter of 4.5 centimeters. It's part of a drone, one of 3 on the bagpipe, that create bass and tenor harmonies. They drill a hole that will later become an air channel. Using a lathe and a plastic template as a guide, a craftsman spins the wood to carve it, a process called turning. The lathe has a stationary carbide-tipped cutter, strong and precise enough to cut this hard African blackwood. It's a very heavy and dry wood, perfect for turning. For more intricate decorative cuts, he uses a handheld device called a combing tool. Next, he uses what's called a parting-off tool to make additional decorative grooves. He measures these grooves using a caliper to ensure they meet the specifications of the design. The craftsman drills a hole to create what's called a projecting mount. It's made of imitation ivory and at 5 centimeters in diameter, it fits on the drone like a washer, but it's just for decoration, one of 7 on the bagpipe. He adds a metal component called a slide, also for decoration. Next, he turns what's called a blowpipe. This one's made of plastic to withstand moisture from saliva. Traditionalists prefer blowpipes made of wood. He adds a mouthpiece. It retracts by 20 centimeters depending on the player's height. The player blows into the mouthpiece to inflate the bag. A small metal tube between 2 plastic blades forms the chanter reed. When air strikes it, the reed vibrates inside the chanter, a pipe at the bottom of the instrument that has 8 finger holes for notes and 2 for pitch adjustment. To secure it, the craftsman wraps the reed with hemp string and winds Teflon tape over the string for an airtight seal. Then a brass wire called a bridle to control the shape of the reed. Narrowing the opening produces a higher-pitched sound. The craftsman ties hemstring to create traction between the drone segments, holding them together. Hemstring is especially durable, yet easily replaced if damaged. Here's the completed tenor drone. Next, a craftsman inserts what's called a stalk through the zippered opening of the pipe bag. The pipe bag's made of synthetic, breathable material. The 5 stalks fit through a rubber collar in the bag, attaching to the 3 drones, the chanter, and the blowpipe. The craftsman inserts the chanter through a sleeve in the bottom of the pipe bag. He secures it with string, tightening it around the bag. He closes the zipper to form an airtight seal. Next, he places the pipe bag into a decorative velveteen bag cover. He inserts the stalks through holes trimmed with wool or silk fringe. A rubber valve prevents the player's air from coming back up through the blowpipe, channeling it through the chanter instead. Another part, called a drone reed, acts like a plastic tongue. It vibrates over a long hole to create the bagpipe's humming sound. The craftsman inserts the drone reed into the drone and then into its stalk. Wool cords keep the drones in place while the player plays. Finally, the craftsman fits the chanter reed into the chanter, then slides it into its stalk. A bagpiper must have a strong set of lungs because some songs can run for 20 minutes. Now that's long-winded. There was a time when the dining room was for formal dining only, and the style of dining room furniture reflected that. Not anymore. Today's dining room sets come in both elegant and casual styles, and there's something to suit every decor, from contemporary to country, from traditional to ultra-modern. This factory makes casual dining room furniture. It uses only durable hardwoods, such as birch and beech. It buys the parts pre-made from a supplier. The workers here assemble the pieces and finish the furniture to the customer's specifications. We're going to see how they make tables. The parts arrive already sanded, but they still go through a machine that gives them an additional fine sanding. This prepares the wood for staining. Workers sand the solid wood parts for the apron by hand. The apron will go just under the tabletop. Workers closely inspect all the components under fluorescent light. They look for any flaws in the wood that they might have missed during sanding. It's critical that every imperfection be sanded down, otherwise it'll show up as a glaring defect once they stain the wood. After all the parts pass inspection, assembly can begin. First, they remove the tabletop's extension piece, called the leaf. They make sure the two main sections fit together perfectly. Then, using a template to ensure the exact positioning, they screw on the runners, the sliding mechanism for extending the table. Then they mount support pieces called stretchers. After marking the position of the apron, workers screw in steel braces to level and align the three sections of the table. This table will have a pedestal base rather than four legs. After installing a part called the assembly plate, they lay down a series of metal templates. These ensure that they mount the apron precisely. Now that they've finished assembling the tabletop, they check its stability and test the mechanics. If everything's up to par, the tabletop moves on to the finishing department. The factory buys wood stain from a supplier. To ensure that the colors are consistent from table to table, the factory tests the stain before using it, comparing it to a color sample. The staining operation takes place in the part of the factory known as the paint kitchen. Each tank has a mixer inside to keep the stain well blended so that the pigments don't settle to the bottom of the tank. This ensures the color will be consistent. There's a separate spray gun for each stain color. After spraying the stain onto the tabletop, a team of workers quickly wipes off the excess. They have just 30 to 90 seconds, otherwise the shade will be off. Another inspection under fluorescent light. Any flaw in the wood they missed before would definitely show up now, thanks to the stain. Every imperfection will be sanded down. Now they spray the table with sealant. This protects against variations in humidity, which would make the wood expand and contract and eventually split. Then they sand the sealant to prepare for a coat of clear lacquer. The lacquer plays two roles, one functional, protecting the wood from scratches, one decorative, giving it a mild sheen. To cure the lacquer, all the table components go into an oven at 150 degrees Celsius. This also strengthens the finish. This factory specializes in personalization. You can choose your stain color or two colors for a two-tone effect. You can also select the shape of your tabletop, the type of edge and apron, and of course, the style of table legs.